Globally, we are seeing a destruction of the sovereignty and liberty of individuals. And then we look at the financial sector and we see the maximum corruption taking place. Let's look at a US law that will force taxpayers to bail out the derivatives. These derivatives that we're talking about are magnified by many fold, far beyond anything in reasonable territory. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. Let's get to this right away. First, the Great Depression versus the Great Recession. Look at Europe's GDP. And it is very stagnant right now. And you saw the Great Depression, one of the worst economic times in history. And look at this. It did take a few years, it declined, but there was steady growth afterwards. And you saw that year over year it began to increase. But look at it today, where it just cannot move in any direction except sideways. And that is after all of this monetary intervention. The economy is dead. And when I say this, it is quite interesting to see the reactions of the people, of the public, because they're really not wanting to believe how serious things are. Look at the unemployment rates, look at the actual labor force participation rates, and that is something that is extremely frightening. It should be a concern because in many statistics that you look at, it is in fact worse now than it was during the Great Depression. Let's get on to the big news for today. Just wanted to bring out this. Basically, I wanted to say how they can bring out all of this information because they have the mainstream media puppets up there on stage to speak out their propaganda. And look at this person right here, the U.S. State Department spokesman. She said this: generally, we continue to believe that upholding impartial standards of accountability will advance the political consensus on which Egypt's long-term stability and economic growth depends. This is exactly what she said. Very confusing, very much, there's not really any formation to the sentence at all. She's just speaking words right off a paper or off a teleprompter, and specifically that she doesn't even know what she's talking about. Let's get into further down in the article where she said she's being questioned, and right here she actually can be heard saying on a hot microphone that Egypt line is ridiculous. So even the government itself doesn't even believe the garbage that they're spitting out into the public. So let's get into what they want to propose for us today. The big news of the day right here out of the New York Times. The House is scheduled to vote on two bills this week that would undercut new financial regulations and hand Wall Street a victory. Does that sound familiar to you? They continuously get victories over the middle class, over the average citizen, and there's nothing new there. And they're saying, well, it's bipartisan, so that's supposed to make it all fine and dandy. So this right here, it's actually Citigroup lobbyists help write one of the bills. Can you believe it? It's amazing the way this works. And they said it would exempt a wide array of derivatives trading from new regulation. They are consistently doing this, consistently allowing this completely open for the big bankers to do whatever they want. And of course, whenever something bad happens, the taxpayer will be responsible. This is the way they are able to continue on with their schemes and scams. It is unbelievable. You can read on in this for yourself. Quite some good information, and it's going to happen here. We see this is pretty obvious because the derivatives continue to expand over time. I've heard reports that they are now at $2.2 quadrillion. You also see other numbers around 700 trillion. It really doesn't matter, to be honest with you. It's so far beyond the GDP numbers, and even the GDP numbers are completely fraudulent. You know that what they include for GDP in the Europe especially, it's amazing to see what they're actually allowing these days. But essentially, Let me show you. I spoke about the Citigroup lobbyists helping to write the bill. This is it right here, partly. And before that, I just wanted to mention this. I specifically said in the interview with SGT back in 2012 that I did, I specifically said that the taxpayer will foot the bill. They're going to hold us hostage. I said that. They're going to hold us hostage for these derivatives when they blow up. I said that specifically in 2012. I've said it since multiple times, but this time I know for sure I said it in this interview, and I know specifically it's going to happen. It doesn't take a genius, and now they're writing it into law. Of course it's going to happen. They might, clean it up a little bit and say that they're working on it and say that they, made everything fair, but that's not the case. They never do. So I said that back in 2012. Here it is, Citigroup draft and the final bill. But it doesn't matter. Either way, it says this in both instances that they would be this security-based swap activity will be covered by depository institutions. They are going to use our FDIC, CDIC, depending on where you live, to cover the derivatives trades. It is amazing the way they do this, and they're able to get away with it, actually write it into law, because the bankers are writing the laws. So surely they're going to make it favorable for them. This is incredible. This is bombshell news that's coming out. And the way they report on it is like back in the newspaper, not important information. But guess what? If everybody's bank account is being slaughtered by these bailouts, they're going to have to get into bail-ins at some point, taking the bank accounts of people. They are really going to be in big trouble when we have a massive level of civil unrest that nobody in the mainstream media will be willing to talk about. This right here, index of the labor force. This is incredible, the way the propaganda is put out into the public there. That green line is the estimated survey. They continuously say that everything's doing just fine. It is a straight line upward, as if it's just in a computer program, not realistic at all. And then you look at the other ones, the labor force participation rate, it's heading basically sideways. And this is totally, it goes against all of what is happening in the estimated survey. It's just going up in a perfectly straight line. It's a complete joke. And, you can look at this further on yourself. That's enough for me. That's just the propaganda. I just wanted to show you this. And this is banks urge big U.S. clients to move their deposits. According to the Wall Street Journal, they are going to add fees to some accounts that have been free, and they're actually urging their clients, their big clients, move your money out. What is happening when the banks are telling people to move their money out? They've been imposing all sorts of different fees. They've been doing trials. They've sent out many letters to different clients, basically saying that, for these certain criteria, you're going to be charged. If you want to move money out of the account, we're going to charge you. Something's going on. Something big is happening in the banking sector that we are going to be definitely headed for. And then, once again here out of the Netherlands, I just wanted to show you this. Of course, I personally can't understand it, but I did read the English side, and basically what it said was that yet another banker has died. Something is going on here, and this has been yet another one just adding up, and the banking sector is filled with fraud, filled with criminality, and this is yet another instance, or could be another instance, where this is coming to light. It is pretty amazing and unfortunate that this is happening so often. I'm going to have to continue to bring it out and show you guys how bad this really is. It is not a coincidence anymore. This is really happening one after the other after the other. Every couple weeks there's another one, and it's pretty unfortunate the way this is occurring. If you found this video informative, please give me a thumbs up. Talk about this video with your friends, your family, with other like-minded individuals. If you don't want to speak to the friends and family, I understand. Talk to like-minded individuals on this channel, on other channels. If you have your own blog, if you have your own YouTube channel, let's talk about the situation that's happening. They are going to hold us hostage for these derivatives, and that is something I am very concerned about. And don't forget to become an insider. We have well over 1,200 insiders now, and it's totally free. It's available at themoneygps.com. You scroll down to the bottom, fill in your email address, and you get get occasional emails from me with good, short, concise info.